Having an existential crisis is like one of the best things that has ever happened to me. Now, everything I do is a new experience in itself. It's insane. Every time I go to the same park, I have a different experience. It's such a cool way of living life, and I think it's just a much happier way of living life. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't randomly get depressive episodes, because I still do, but that's part of what my soul knew when it was coming to this planet, so I'm okay with it, and I'm trying to do it with grace. Why is there even a negative connotation to anything existential? Why can't it just be like, I'm having an existential moment, and it's perceived as being positive? Why is it seen as so negative? And I think it comes down to the fact that it's not known. It's a different way of thinking, because you're actually now pondering things that are beyond just like earthly surface level stuff. And by the way, science has been doing this forever. Quantum physics is exactly what it is. If anyone ever tries to even slightly understand quantum physics, you'll actually understand how much you don't know. When my mom tries to explain the concept to me, my brain shuts off. We've done stuff on this planet research-wise, but we haven't done it on a spiritual level. What we are made out of, a planet across the entire universe, is made out of the same things, just because the composition of our molecules are slightly different. So if you just kind of think about things like that, you understand how connected everything is, and that concept in itself kind of spooks people out, and I understand. It's a bit scary having an existential crisis, because you think about your existence and you kind of think, what's the point? Why am I here? Everyone does kind of question it, and then it kind of just goes away because you're just like, there's no answer, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're kind of seeking an answer. You end up going through a bunch of roller coasters. I'm so grateful that this happened to me, because now I view life in a much more positive lens. Whereas before, I was just kind of living through it autopilot. To me, life was simply just go to school so that you can get a job that gives you money, and then eventually you get more money, and then you are comfortable, and then when you're comfortable, you have kids. And there's nothing wrong with this setup. It's just maybe we've evolved slightly. Since I've been on this vibration, I've been talking to a lot of other people, and randomly bumping into a lot of different people who also think the same way and just question the same sort of things quite often. And I'm noticing that there's more and more people that are doing this. So in my opinion, when someone else is not able to toy with your emotions and make you believe something that you don't even understand yourself, but you believe it because you're conditioned to believe it, like as soon as you're able to take control and ask questions like, why should I believe this? And if you have an open mind about understanding all perspectives, you look at a situation holistically, and your quality of life just increases. Like your mental health increases, physical health, emotional health, everything just gets better. I stepped my toes into the entire pool of unknown, and I'm still going through being scared. Like I'm so fearful because I have to keep a lot of my thoughts inside. I think that's the main reason why I made a YouTube channel, because I know that there's other people who maybe even sometimes just think about it. I do have to be a little bit careful when it comes to the real world, which is just the human world that we're in, just because not everyone maybe thinks like that. And by the way, there's nothing right or wrong about any way of thinking. I'm not trying to say I think better. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's a misconception that many people have when someone turns spiritual. No, that's not the case. It's a different way of thinking that aligns to you. And if it doesn't align to you, then that's cool. It's just the way you want to live out your life. That's all it is. And there should be no judgment. Like as soon as you get more spiritual, you start to realize that you should not judge. That was another thing when I was in autopilot. I would be very judgy because I was taught to be very judgy, because everyone around me is very judgy. There's different types of people on this planet, right? And the point is like we do need to start strengthening our minds so that we can start making real good decisions for ourselves. And I think having an existential crisis has helped me think more about what I am, where I come from, what is it that I want. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'm laying in bed crying about the fact that everything's insignificant. People go through that too, but people go through what they need to go through on their journeys for a reason that no one knows why. There are certain things you have to understand just aren't under your control. That really helps calm you down when you're in your existential crisis moment, because when you realize that not everything's under your control, you can actually let go and be who you are. I used to have a lot of pressure on me because I kind of did things, in my opinion, perfectly like many other people have, which is going the conventional path and actually doing very well. And as soon as I had my existential crisis, I was able to just let that layer of me shed off, which is the trying to live up to other people's expectations that aren't even mine. I didn't even ever take out time to figure out what are my expectations for myself. Suddenly other people's expectations for me in my life became my expectations as I thought. You're kind of confused and you're trying to get through this world in that sort of time frame. So I let those expectations become my expectations. And so as soon as I started having an existential moment, I'm gonna stop calling it crisis. Like, I think a crisis is a bit negative. I think I was saved by my existential moment, and where I was like, hold on, what is this? That simple question. Why do I need to feel this way in this lifetime? Is something not feeling good because it's hard? Isn't feeling good because it's not aligned to me? For the most part, it's when things aren't aligned to you, you can figure out what those things are and then question it and figure it out in a different perspective. Now, another thing about having an existential crisis is you're gonna kind of be alone, which kind of sucks. In most cases, the reason you had your existential crisis is because you kind of went through something tough in life. Perhaps you hit rock bottom, perhaps you had loss of a significant one, and your body's natural defense mechanism, thank God, was for you to have an existential collapse. It could have been going completely autopilot for the rest of your life and numb all your emotions, which it was almost like that for me. But luckily, somehow I was able to just have existential questions. What I'm trying to hope that everyone gets out of this video is that it's a journey and you're gonna be alone on it a little bit, but that's totally okay. Give yourself time. We're here for a short amount of time, but it's pretty long if you think about, if you're lucky, you know what I mean? But like, it's enough time. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be and you're doing things that you need to be doing, and trust that you saw this video for some sort of reason. And don't think too much about it. Don't think you have to suddenly get up and get your shit together right away, because that's the type of person I am. Like, I always think I have to get the fuck up and just start doing something with my life, but maybe it's just a simple thing of listening to other people talk. Maybe it's just a self-reflection. Maybe it's just chill. Just know that having an existential moment is not a bad thing. Having an existential moment is beautiful because you like question things that are around you and you no longer are a victim of your own emotions and other people's thoughts. Like, you kind of start becoming your own person and figuring out who that is. So I actually applaud that, and it's very brave if you do end up thinking like that. I personally think it's pretty brave because you're kind of not doing something that you're used to and it's new. So anyways, I'm just gonna end off the video there. Sending good vibes to you guys through the screen, and I'll see you guys next video.